Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Sutton Reactions with Sutton Def. This is a show where I react to literally any and everything that you guys send me, any and everything that comes to my attention, and I try to provide a little bit of a different perspective on it. If this is your first time in, we do these live. So shout out to everybody who's trickling into the live chat right now. If you're not watching live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, which means you're watching after the fact, shout out to you. Make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel as well. One quick thing, housekeeping stuff before we hop into the reactions today. And we got a jam-packed episode. So literally, I mean, kick back, relax, whether you're, listening to this at work, on your commute to work, maybe you're off today, maybe you work from home, kick back, relax, grab your favorite drink, snack, or vice, and we're going to get into it. But first, a couple of housekeeping things. I know, again, a lot of you are watching on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, per usual. Today, the link to the actual Sutton Reactions YouTube channel is in the description right now, so you can go ahead and click on that. Subscribe over there because eventually the show will no longer be on the PRP channel, and it will be exclusively available over on the Sutton Reactions official YouTube channel. So make sure you go ahead and scroll down to the description, click on that link there. Join us over there, but feel free to hang out with us here if you're in PRP chat. Just make sure you subscribe over there too, because eventually it won't be here anymore. Shout out to everybody here already. Again, if you're in the live chat, make sure you sound off for me. What is it, about 8:30 a.m.? Nice day outside. I'm surprised. I mean, we're in January. I'm able to walk out on my balcony with short sleeves on in the morning, in shorts. It actually feels really, really good to be able to do that. But that's out here in Texas. I know a lot of you guys are on the East Coast, and it's not the same. So, I feel for you. I feel for you, fam. I feel for you. All right. What I want to start with is this. Before we even hop into any videos today, there's an elephant in the room that's kind of like not only just dominating sports media, but like just kind of pop culture media too, just because of how big of a deal it was yesterday. Yesterday, we got news that the Baltimore Ravens fired their head coach, John Harbaugh, after 18 seasons in the NFL as their head coach. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big Ravens guy, but for me, it kind of hit home. It felt a little bit bittersweet. I can't lie to you. It felt a little bit bittersweet losing John Harbaugh. And the only reason I say that is because, I was 12 years old when the Ravens first hired John Harbaugh. So a lot of, what I've experienced with the Ravens over my lifetime has been with John Harbaugh as head coach. And there were some good times and there were definitely some bad times as well, but all the same, man, I wish him nothing but the best. I know he's already gotten 9 phone calls, I want to say it was, since he got fired by the Ravens. What up, coach? I see you in the chat. It says hola. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning, coach. Again, one of our members in here. Shout out to him. Dream Chasing is in the chat as well. What's going on, Dream Chasing? Says good morning. Top of the morning to you as well, brother. But yeah, I wish him the best wherever he goes. I think that he'll probably end up landing with, I think, the New York Giants, right? Not too far from where he is right now, only a couple hours up the road. They can get him, Ingrid, and Allison, his family, get a beautiful home out there in like upstate New York or something like that. And I could totally see him, ushering in Jackson Dart. I mean, that's the perfect, quite literally the perfect quarterback coach kind of like tandem there, because, John Harbaugh is going to want to coach up a guy and kind of groom Jackson Dart into being a pro's pro. Now, whether or not he's successful in doing that, I don't know. But, again, the prospect of him having a Jackson Dart who looks promising, having a returning Malik Neighbors, who, of course, is going to be, I think, if he can stay healthy, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. Then Cam Scatterboo coming off of that injury. Hopefully he can bounce back. But that's a nice little nucleus right there. If John Harbaugh wanted to go to New York and coach up the Giants, I think that would be a very, very attractive job. And I know they're on the phones because they're actively looking for a head coach right now. Outside of that, I don't really see him wanting to go to Atlanta and coaching up the Falcons, even though they have a nice little nucleus. I think the Giants is a little bit more turnkey and ready to go. If you're Harbaugh, like, okay, I can inherit these young pieces, right? It is a big media market in New York, that's for sure. bigger than Baltimore. That is for sure. Now, if you're a high profile name like John Harbaugh going over there, you're going to be, garnering a lot of attention. So if he's ready for that, then cool. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if John Harbaugh took a little gap year. Just took a year off, to kind of recuperate with his family, and then came back to football and seeing what head coaching spots are available after the 2026 season. But that it's just something to think about for Harbaugh. Again, wish him nothing but the best, nothing but the best. But it just needed to be a change in Baltimore. Zico Kage's in the house. Top of the morning to you. Says Sutton, what's good, and everyone. What's going on, Zeke? Dream Chasing says seeing teams twerk for Harbaugh but not McCarthy is the perfect example of how perception is reality. Yeah, I mean, Harbs and McCarthy not too far off from each other, right? Statistically, win percentage and all that good stuff, they're like neck and neck. It's like that meme with like the what's the girl's name? Lizzo and Rick Ross, where like there's a picture of Lizzo and it's like, oh, this is empowering. That's John Harbaugh. Then there's the picture of Rick Ross with like a shirt off, and it's like, put a shirt on, and like that would be, I guess, Mike McCarthy, because he's, I mean, but I think that has more to do with the owner, right? I mean, our owner, Steve Bisciotti, just has not been willing to move off of John Harbaugh for 18 years. There's been multiple times where you could point to and say, okay, maybe they should go ahead and get a new head coach. It didn't just start in the last 2-3 years, right? It's been going on for at least a decade where it's like, maybe we should fire him, maybe we shouldn't, So I guess there's just a difference in ownership that kind of lends to that perception. Dream chasing. There definitely seems like a new breath of fresh air, says Makai Livingston. Says, a guy saw my Ravens hat this morning and stopped to talk to me about how excited he was for the future. Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels good, right? Like, it feels good to, not even 72 hours after losing, after our season getting ended in heartbreaking fashion again, it feels like we have something to look forward to. I'm already ready for the 2026 season. Like, normally now, like the acceptance and the grief, the grief stages are like setting in, from our season getting ended. I remember last year after the Buffalo loss, it literally took me about a good week to get back right mentally again, right? But with this one, as soon as I got that Harbaugh news, it's like, okay, new season, new chapter, let's go, right? Like I'm totally rejuvenated. The loss on Sunday is totally in my rearview mirror. Not even 72 hours after the game's conclusion. I feel good. I feel good, and I think all of us Ravens fans out there should feel good as well. Void is another one of our members here in the chat. Shout out to you, Void. Shout out to you. Yeah, join the Rain Gang membership, getting access to exclusive PRP content. I'd appreciate that. I'm going to be doing some live streams where we do some members only call-ins. So if you do want to call into the show and talk Ravens later on Quiet Storm Sports, you do have to be a member for that. So if you are a member and you're listening to this and you want to call in and give your piece on the show, make sure you tune in later on today. And turn on notifications for PRP and Sudden Reactions. I'd appreciate that. That way you know anytime we're getting ready to go live. Some good coffee. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on John Harbaugh. I actually do have my first, like, because I said it like this yesterday on PRP when I was talking to Alex. And if you haven't checked out our instant reaction to John Harbaugh being fired, make sure you check that out after this. It was a great hour of discussion. But I was saying that yesterday, this is like election season now in Baltimore. And there's all these different head coaching candidates that are going to be being interviewed and, talked about. And you're going to have one side of the fan. I think the fan base is going to be very split on who they want. A lot of people I see are saying, oh, Brian Flores. A lot of people are saying things like, oh, Jesse Minter. Go get Jesse Minter. Me personally, I think that they should go with an offensive-minded head coach because it's, one, an offensive league. That's what everything is catered towards nowadays. Two, I think you have to maximize Lamar Jackson. I think you have to get him to the next level. Get him somebody who's going to be with him, all the time, right? Like collaborating with him all the time, and taking him to that next level. He needs to evolve. He needs to grow. Lamar Jackson does into the next evolution of his game. Kind of similar in the way that when the Ravens moved on from Greg Roman. When they moved on from Greg Roman to Todd Monken, right? Lamar Jackson got a whole lot more productive, especially throwing the football. Now, I think it's just in big moments, he needs a culture change at head coach in order to get this team rallied around him, right? So they can actually achieve their ultimate goal. I think that's where, they're at right now with this. That's how you evolve Lamar Jackson to the next level. You need a new coach that he loves, right? And who also has a mind for that side of the football. That's what it boils down to. And I think that guy, honestly, is Mike LaFleur. I think it's Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator. That is my number one candidate right now. You heard it here first. I'll reverberate that on multiple other shows, but right now, Mike LaFleur is my leading candidate for the Ravens to hire. 38 years old. Um, again, Rams offensive coordinator, loves to run a lot of 13 personnel, one back, three tight ends. If we can somehow retain Isaiah Likely, and we have Mark Andrews for 3 more years, Kohler's probably going to play for cheap. I think that he could do damage with those 3 tight ends because he was doing damage with 3 tight ends in LA with Matthew Stafford, a non-mobile quarterback, right? So give him a quarterback who can throw and run. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you've got Derrick Henry in the backfield. The sky would be the limit for this offense. The sky would be the limit for this offense. Without even talking about the defense, man, I just think that the matchups and the mismatches and the angles that he would create for some of these players in the offense, I would love to see it. Mike LaFleur is my number one candidate so far, but I'll say more later on the pod. Dream Chaser, appreciate the $5 super chat donation, brother, making it rain here. They can't do everything this offseason, but O-line and pass rusher must be addressed. We don't need a great middle linebacker or corners, in my opinion. I think so too. I agree with this. Trenches are everything. You have to shore up those guard spots, make sure Lamar Jackson, and that's why I'm saying an offensive-minded head coach, if you bring in an offensive-minded head coach, he's going to make sure that offensive line is kept paramount, right, in terms of the totem pole of priorities. So that I would have no worries about if we had an offensive-minded head coach, and that's why I want one. And then I think you just have to go out. Eric DeCosta, he's going to have to adjust his philosophy and just realize, okay, I got to go buy pieces for this defensive line. Maybe even the offensive line too, but I got to go buy an edge rusher. How can we do that? I mean, obviously, Steve Bisciotti is hitting the reset button right now. And Eric DeCosta, I think, has to wake up to that. I think he has to wake up and say, okay, Harbs is out. That's my neighbor. I'm going to see him in my backyard tomorrow. I might be on the chopping block as well if this is how Stevie B is moving. So I need to move differently if I want to keep my job. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to see them heavily, aggressively pursue defensive line and offensive line help this offseason. Thank you for your super chat donation, Dream Chasing. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the support on the channel, guys. All right. Facts in the draft. I'm hoping for a left tackle for sure. I mean, really, I'm looking for guards. And I'm looking for defensive tackles. Because Madubuike's got to get replaced. Just is what it is. But all right, guys, look, enough Ravens talk. Again, I've been up here for 14, almost 15 minutes now talking Ravens. We will be talking Ravens later on Quiet Storm Sports. Again, we're going to be doing a live call-in show, so you can let me know who you want as head coach. But again, it's going to be members-only call-ins. So make sure you join us later. Should be a good one. All right, let's get into some reactions, guys. Okay, so we got a pretty jam-packed episode today, guys. I can't lie to you. There is some serious stuff, some non-serious stuff, some thought-provoking stuff, and some playful stuff. And of course, there's always the mess. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you stick around. Make sure you like this video, kick back, relax, because here we go. We're going to start with something a little light, little hypothetical here. Would you rather, take a listen,
Would you rather fight a chicken every time you get in your car? Or would you rather fight a lion once a year? You gotta get back in the car.
Exactly.
Oh, you versus a lion?
You have no faith in me.
You're really thinking you can beat a lion?
I'm gonna try the best I can.
That doesn't matter.
No, because you might die from a chicken too. Like those pegs.
Those pegs.
Like you might hurt yourself, or they might hurt you. So
What are we talking about?
Every time you get in the car, boom, boom, chicken.
yeah, y'all are grown men. Maybe y'all can fight off a chicken.
Have you fought a chicken?
I can't fight. No one can fight a lion.
We're grown men, and we said no to the lion.
So, would you rather fight a lion once a year, or would you rather have a chicken in your car literally every time you get in your car? Is the hypothetical here.
Once a year. I could be training that whole time to fight this lion.
Have you ever been to the zoo?
Who do you think you are? Hey, they don't hold chickens behind glass panes in bars.
But you know, like the geese at the ponds, how they chase people, they're not friendly. So what makes you think chicken are friendly?
I don't care how friendly it is. It's not a lion.
Okay, some lions can be friendly though too.
You have to get to the neck
You're
first.
fighting him. You're not taking him to a coffee date.
You
right
know
here.
what I'll do as soon as I open the door and see a chicken?
But it's
Grab the
No,
chicken.
your door's not open. You have to get the door
You have to
open.
get the door open.
Is the chicken preventing me from opening a door?
If I try to fight a lion with unarmed, bare hand, I lose. There's no scenario
You don't
where
know
I
that.
beat the lion. Y'all are saying
What
you don't-
chickens have y'all seen before?
Chickens are crazy.
Yes.
You're trying to fight the king of the jungle. This is a lion.
I'm a Leo. Let me not even get into that.
Did you say you're Leo? Oh my God. She didn't watch last week's.
What are you gonna connect with the lion?
Yes,
and be like,
yes.
don't me?
Because we're both loyal people. Anywho, have you been in a chicken coop?
Listen. I'm telling you, I honestly believe I'd rather fight the lion. I think I would rather fight the lion. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the girl actually made a solid point. She said you can train all year to fight this lion. Like you can honestly take it a step further. I can make content out of this. I can go viral training to fight for my annual lion battle. Right? And that'll just be my whole thing. I'm going to be like ripped. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be huge. I'm going to bring weapons into the battle every year. And every year I'm going to smoke that lion. Do you know how mentally taxing it would be? Do you know how just like, again, exhausting it would be for every time you go to your car? Every time you go to your car and you open up that door, there's a chicken there. And again, chickens can be crazy and they got claws and they will attack you. If you back them up into a corner, they will attack you. My grandma, she had my great grandma had a chicken coop when I was growing up. And some of those chickens did not play. So that's what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine you got a newborn baby, right? And you got to take them somewhere. And before you get in the car, you got to go outside, dispose of a chicken, and then go put your baby in the car. Can you imagine when you get in the car with your baby and say you got to go to the grocery store? You get out of the car with your baby, you go in, shop, come back outside to the parking lot, right? Baby in hand, groceries in the other hand. And before putting your baby in the car, you got to go inside the car and kill another chicken. And then, when you get home and you get out of the car and you go in the house, and then you forget that you left your charger in the car, you got to go back to the car and kill another chicken. You're at 3 chickens on the day. Do you know how exhausting that would be for the rest of your life? For the rest of your life. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going with the lion, man. I'm going with the lion. Once a year, hey, look, man. They never said you couldn't bring weapons. I'm sure probably guns are off the table, but some spears or something like that. I'd just be training, man. I'd be training hard every day. Posting it on TikTok, getting millions of views and followers, getting money, living a great life, right? Going a 6-month vacation after defeating the lion, and then 6 months train. That doesn't sound like a bad life to me. All a chicken does in your car every single time is bring you a headache. I'm convinced. You can't convince me otherwise. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat here. Chickens are mean, but they're punnable. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely, but you the thing about that, you have to be like mean and aggressive. You know how like that would change you as a person. If every time you got in the car, you had to like physically, like aggressively, you know what I mean? Like, do you know what like having like a dopamine spike like that or adrenaline spike like that every time you go to your car with duty, that would literally change you as a person. See, y'all ain't thinking about it deep enough for me, man. Y'all not thinking about it deep enough. That's the problem. Y'all not thinking about it deep enough. Void says training for death is a new one. Zeke says I'm having chicken every day. Chef Spicy Rice says the chicken dog size matters. Void with a nice little solution here says just buy some seeds and toss them like some chicken feed and get the chicken out of the way. I mean, that's not a bad solution. That's not a bad solution. But what if the stipulation is you have to kill the chicken? You know, because I assume you have to kill the lion, right? So I think you have to kill the chicken every day too, just to make it fair. Just to make it fair. So you can't cheat like that. Nice try, though. Nice try. Lion's going to be licking his chops. I don't think you understand how strong a lion is. Now imagine dying and leaving a child because leaving a child parentless because they chose to fight a lion. Also, they never said the lion won't pop up at 2 a.m. in your room. Don't bend the rules. No, the lion match is a scheduled event. It is a scheduled event. We all showing up. You know, the lion knows to show up here at this time on this date every year. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing. But now the chicken is spontaneous. I think just to make it fair, because at the end of the day, it is a lion. It is a freaking lion, right? So I think to balance it out. To balance it out. Those are the stipulations I'm gonna put on it. You don't have to say Batman. You don't have prep time. Chef says this ain't Batman. You don't have prep time. Heck, why not? Why don't I? I got all year. I can train with like the baddest of lion hunters. You know what I'm saying? I can become one with them. Right? Again, make that my whole media personality, whatever. Shit, y'all tripping. I'm sorry. Y'all are tripping. Welcome into Sutton Reactions, y'all. This is episode 13 of the show. Starting off with a little bit of lighthearted stuff, lighthearted content here. I like the little hypotheticals, the would you rathers. It's funny to me. All right, but let's move on. All right, so next, what I want to get into. Oh, yeah, let's get into this. So it was a guy, I can't remember his name, went on a podcast and talked about how sports gambling is quite literally the portal to hell for young men in like their 20s because of just how much is pushed nowadays. Let's just go ahead and listen to what he had to say.
The fastest growing addiction that is destroying young men in their 20s is online sports gambling. FanDuel is a portal to hell. DraftKings ain't kinging nothing except their own pocketbook. And they're screwing an entire generation of young men because you don't win. That's why they can afford to buy ads. They're back to back ads every time you turn on a sporting event. They're spending billions of dollars. You know where they're getting that? It's out of your kid's freaking pocket because they're screwing an entire generation. This is evil stuff right here.
You know, and I think this dude's got a really, really good point. Gambling in general, like Chef Spicy Rice says here, says never touches the stuff. It's not good. It's definitely a vice. And let me preface this by saying this. I know me and Alex, we do our Purple Rain Parlay on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, the official podcast episodes of that. We do our Purple Rain Parlay once a week. But we always tell you guys to please gamble responsibly. And we hope that you guys take that message very, very seriously, because while doing parlays might be fun, that's the exact way that they get you, because it doesn't feel like an addiction. It doesn't feel like an addiction in the same way that like maybe like drugs or alcohol does, right? Like, at least with those things, it requires actual effort and planning and steps that you have to take in order to, you know, attain or kind of itch that or scratch that itch, if you know what I mean. Like, you have to get up and actually go buy drugs from somewhere or someone. You have to get up and actually go get alcohol and stuff like that. With this gambling stuff, it's literally just like an entire casino right there in your pocket. Right there in your pocket. And, to 20-something-year-old men who, by and large, adore professional sports and by and large think they know more than the next guy about professional sports, whether it be a specific team, a specific sport itself, a specific league, right? And also, a lot of 20-something-year-old men have a little bit of arrogance in them. A lot of them have a lot of bit of arrogance in them. So you kind of mix all those things into one big pot, right? And it's like, so, okay, you're telling me I can make money while I'm like struggling in my 20s or whatever, right? I can make money just by predicting sports that I know so much about. It's like a no-brainer. Of course I want to do this, and I don't even have to get out of bed to do it. I can literally wake up at 3 a.m. without even wiping the crust out of my eyes and gamble away, my money. And the thing is, he makes a good point in this because you quite literally cannot win. You can't win. It's literally unsustainable. And that's why, like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I sports bet, right? But I do it like in spurts, right? I don't do it. I make sure that I'm not doing it like every day, every week or anything like that. Like once a month, I'll like have like a little 2 or 3 day kick where I'll put down some money, see if I can win something, whatever. But after that, I leave it alone. I put it down, because you can quickly fall into the trap of literally like loading up a bet every day. And again, you don't win because it's literally just a big math problem. Most people do put in parlays. And the fact of the matter is it's just a big probability, equation. You know what I'm saying? Like the more legs that you put, of course, the higher the payout is going to be, which entices you to, go ahead and make that bet and spend that money. But it's less likely to happen. The more legs you add, I mean, I see people with these like 21 leg parlays, all of stuff that's like likely to happen, and that's why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, it's not about what's likely to happen in this game and what's likely to happen in that game. It's about math. It's just math at the end of the day. That's why the smart sports gamblers, they only take straight bets. They stay away from parlays completely. Parlays are a lot more fun. I admit they are. They are. And maybe he should have taken it a bit further in this podcast. I don't know if he did, but he should have mentioned how, like, parlays are really what's doing us in. Really what's doing us in. Because it's just like it's fool's gold. It's quite literally fool's gold. When you type into FanDuel that you're gonna wager $10 on a 6-leg parlay on the Ravens game or the Lakers game or whatever, and it tells you have a payout of $674 if all 6 of these legs hit, you're like, okay, cool, I'll take that. And subconsciously, even sometimes, and I was guilty of this when I first started sports gambling. I would win a couple, and then I would just expect wins. You know what I mean? I would expect wins. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna put down this $10, and it's gonna pay out $300. And like you low key like think like, wow, like if I just had like a extra free like $300 right now, like what would I do with that money? You know what I mean? And it just entices you to keep playing and keep playing. And again, the fact that it makes it so easy because everything's on this, and we keep these things attached to our hip, it's tough to get over that. It's tough to shake that. And I know some people who are afflicted by that, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous because it's not like any other vice where because it doesn't feel like a vice. Again, it just feels like you're playing a game on your phone, right? And it's so easy to do, and it's so private. Nobody ever even has to know, really. Like again, if you're on like drugs or alcohol, somebody knows that you're getting drunk, or if you're on drugs, somebody knows that you're getting high, right? If you are addicted to sports gambling, you just do that literally. Again, wake up at 3 a.m., put in 10, 15 bets, and some people do this, and just trickle in bets throughout the day. Nobody has to know. You're just on your phone. Everybody's on their phone. That's what makes it so dangerous. Like they're weaponizing. They're starting to weaponize what we have in our pockets, and we can't let them do that. We can't let them do that. Stretch 52 says people also forget you have to pay taxes on those winnings too if you go over a certain amount. That's true. That's true as well. But here's the thing, brother. Most people don't even win enough. Most people don't even win enough, right? To like have to like do that on the or claim that on their taxes. Most people don't even win enough to have to pay taxes on their winnings, but they still keep paying, or they still keep playing, right? Let me see. Void says, I don't bet, but I was telling people they should bet on Milrow going before Shador in the draft. They called me a madman, but my guessing percentage is over 88%. Interesting. 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 Taurus in the house says, good morning, USA. Yeah. I like Family Guy over American Dad, by the way, guys, all the way. We can have a debate about that at some point as well. I think that American Dad is just a cheap knockoff version of Family Guy. It's just me. It's just me. Dream Chasing says, I believe adults should have the right to lose all their money, but they had casinos in 2K, loot boxes, Roblox. They are getting young men addicted early. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't even think about it in that regard, Dream Chasing. Loot boxes. Think about how deep that is. Think about how, like, when you play like Call of Duty, like zombies and things like that, and like you always want to hit like a treasure chest, or when you play Call of Duty Warzone or some of these other games that have like these treasure chests that you just open and you get random stuff out of. That is like low key pre-programming kids to enjoy gambling, because I don't know about you guys, but when I play those games who have those loot boxes and those treasure chests, I go through and I try to hit every single one. When I see it, like something in my brain just tells me, oh, like you got to go hit that just to see what's in there. It's a gamble. I just got to see what's in there. Even if I like risk that video game life or whatever, like I just have to see if there's something in there. And I think that I'm able, as an adult to compartmentalize that. And that's why I'm able to talk about that. I'm very self-aware. That's why, I'm able to not fall into the traps of it. But kids, people who are sub 18 years old, I think that it affects them. It affects them. And it does kind of groom them into like, the sports gambling thing. It's kind of a direct funnel, because again, it's right on your phone. It's right on your phone, and I know you have to be 21 to do it, but there's ways around it. There's ways around it, and people can find ways around it. There's ways around everything. It's crazy. Man, that's a really good point, though. I didn't know they had it in 2K. I did not know that they had it in 2K. Roblox has everything. Roblox has everything nowadays. Everything. Family Guy is way better. Absolutely, bro. No debate. Family Guy invented cutaways. For sure. For sure. It's like most things are okay in moderation and being responsible. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I try to move with it. Everything in moderation, guys. Everything in moderation. But what this guy is saying here, like when he's saying like it's a portal to hell, like FanDuel is a portal to hell. That's a stretch, and definitely like, a clickbaity thing on his part. However, he's not far off, like when you really think about what he means, because it's a slippery slope. And like I said, with ways to work around it, kids are going to be able to start gambling younger and younger and younger, because they have these devices younger and younger and younger. I knew people gambling in high school, says Void. Exactly. They will find a way. They will find a way. And when the commercials are literally plastered all over television and in the media, it's hard to get around it. And it makes it feel normal. It makes it feel okay. It makes it feel right. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this, or else they wouldn't be running a FanDuel commercial here, and then right back to back with that is a DraftKings commercial, then a Prize Picks commercial. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be doing that. Every huge podcast wouldn't be sponsored by Hard Rock Bet or whatever. So there's a lot of money in it, because there's a lot of money in that industry, because people are losing a lot of money in that industry. And I hope that the kids wake up. I hope that the kids wake up. I do. Over 100 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for coming through to this episode of Sutton Reactions, where we react to any and everything that comes to my attention. You can send me topics to my Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see down below. We are live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitter right now. Appreciate y'all for coming through again. All right, let's move on to our next topic here. So we got through our hypotheticals. We got through the gambling, the sports betting. Let me see. Where do you want to go next? I think it's time for mess. You guys want to get messy? I think it's time to get messy. I got a lot of mess today. There's a lot of mess today. Big messes everywhere, guys. I mean, I know this is a lot of you guys' favorite part of the show. It is low-key my favorite part of the show as well, because we kind of just get to laugh, you know, and not take things too seriously. But some of these things are like kind of like hot button type of topics and kind of thought provoking, right? So it's time to get into the mess, man. It's time to get messy. Time to get messy, like Zeke says here. All right, so let's kick it off with this. There was a girl or a woman who said that she was assaulted at the gym by a police officer. Let's go ahead and listen to her story.
So an Ottawa police officer just sexually harassed me at the gym. As one does, of course. He was doing chest flies. I was standing in front of him, and I was respecting him in his fucking space and wanted him to be able to see his form, so I kept moving out of the way so that he could see himself in the mirror. And after I did this twice, he stops me and he's like, yeah, it's okay. I may just be a dirty old man. Here it comes. But I almost don't mind if you're standing in front of me while I do this. And I did what we all do as women when we get comments like that. I just went, ha ha, turned around and I was like, fuck, I hate men. And then I was really pissed and went to turn around to tell him, like, this is not okay, and here is why. And he was gone. I got a Good Life associate, told her, and she wanted to see where it happened so that she could find it on camera, because I was like, fuck, I don't want to come back here with this dude. Like, I'm uncomfortable as shit right now. He was there. I was like, oh, this is him. Confronted him. And then when I told him that was not okay, you made me feel uncomfortable, he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, like, this is not cool. It's not okay. Then he tells me, I actually rescind my apology. Anyway, here's the video.
So she's getting ready to show us the video here of what happened. But thus far, it sounds like there was an old man, a dirty old man in the gym who saw her working out in front of him, and she probably looked good to him, and he shot his shot, right? And when old men tend to shoot their shot, they do it in a way where it doesn't really translate or communicate very well to modern women, I don't think. And it comes off as offensive and creepy and very sexual, right? But let's listen to the video of how she responded to him and how he responded to her.
And I kept moving out of the way. Oh, that's him. Ew. Oh, fuck off. No. I don't give a shit. It's inappropriate. I don't appreciate it, and it made me feel fucking uncomfortable. This is a place where I come to feel fucking safe. Oh, I should be.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I know. And you made me feel unsafe. I don't fucking appreciate that. And for me to have to go, no, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I'm fucking autistic. This is my fucking safe.
All right, hold on. Pause real quick. These sort of matters really they make you think. I mean, the fact that she's bringing up that she's autistic right now, it kind of starts to make sense why she's reacting to this way. She's reacting in a very, very triggered way, because to me, again, dirty old man, and again, I'm not a woman, so any ladies in the chat, let me know if this is something like this has ever happened to you and how you responded. But for my money, I just feel like you can let that kind of roll off of your shoulder, right? If you want to, hold him accountable and say, hey, look, like, that made me really uncomfortable, you can say that. But for him to like continue to apologize, right, and for you to like shut him down, like, no, like, actually F you, like, that made me really uncomfortable, this is my safe space and all that. It's like, all right, now it gets to be a little bit overkill. For me, Did he work on that shot? Definitely did not work on that shot. And again, this is why. I mean, I say this all the time. I said this a couple of weeks ago when we had a gym topic on the show. I said, like, if you're a man in the gym, just leave people alone. Leave people alone. Don't bother them. Right? There's no point. It's useless. It's useless. Most people do not want to be bothered in the gym because yeah, it is their safe space. Right? But you are gonna have those old men, right, who come from an era of like, you say certain things and that's your way in the door, which does not work at all with like, modern women. It just doesn't work. And there was a miscommunication, but the guy like vehemently apologized and she was like shutting down his apology, which was a little bit wild to me, but let's continue.
Safe space. I come here to fucking lift, and you're fucking disgusting. As I'm moving out of the way so you can see yourself in the fucking mirror. Fuck you.
Wow.
Again, it's like if you're a guy, if you want to avoid situations like this, just don't talk to women in the gym. It's not worth the risk, especially if you're an older guy. You're probably going to come off wrong with the things you say. And who, like, because the original issue was she was standing in front of him while he was doing an exercise and she wanted to move out of the way so he could see himself in the mirror. And he's telling her like, oh, I almost don't mind if you're like in front of me while you're doing that, kind of like insinuating that like, yeah, me looking at you is like, kind of getting me through this workout. Right. Which in a man's eyes, it probably sounds very flattering, right? In his head. In his old man's head, like it probably sounds very flattering. Like I'm low key complimenting her, saying that like I like her in my view, things like that. But to her, she's trying to be in her own bubble, in her own world while she's at the gym. Problem is it's a public space, it's a big box gym, so stay out of people's way, right? If people say something to you, don't let it ruin you. Don't let it ruin your day. Right. And I maybe she had been through something in her past that like this sort of thing triggered her. But I don't know. I just feel like she shouldn't have let this ruin her day like this.
What?
I rescind my apologies. You're nuts.
And then he takes his apology back. He takes his apology back and says she's nuts. That's yeah. Yeah. I think two things can be true. She's a little nuts, right? Because then to also after that immediately run to the internet, film yourself the entire time while you're doing it. The entire time. It kind of says like you were low key looking for a little bit of, a little bit of drama attention. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like I said before, if you are a man in the gym, leave women alone. Leave them alone. Okay, unless they come up and talk to you first, or you have literally without a shadow of a doubt that she wants to talk to you and she's trying to signal that to you. It shouldn't be hard. It's not hard to pick up on. Okay, like just don't say anything because you never know how people are going to react, and especially Especially you have to chill on the sexual innuendos. You can't have those. The gym is a super vulnerable space. People don't come there for that. I like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how like you shouldn't go up to people, even to correct their form. But I would take that. Over this any day. Yeah. It's messy. I know, guys. It's messy. Over 130 people watching live. Shout out to y'all. Again, this is Sutton Reactions. We're getting messy here. We got a lot more to go, a lot more to get into, a lot more to react to. Voice says comments like those you keep to yourself, but at the same time, the situation did not need to reach this degree of intensity. That's what I'm saying. I'm guessing this isn't the first time she's dealt with this. That's what I'm saying too. I agree. Chef says, why can't people just get their workout in and go home? And I mean, this is probably a guy. I mean, I don't know this guy. Obviously older, apparently a police officer too. That's what also makes it a little bit like weird to me. Is like you're a whole police officer meant to like protect and serve, right? You should know a thing or two about what probably makes people uncomfortable, right? So I just think again, like you said, did he work on that shot, Chef? Not at all. Did she use the term assaulted in the beginning, or am I tweaking? No, I think she did. I think she said she was assaulted. Let me see. Let me rewind it back for you guys. Let's see.
So an Ottawa police officer just sexually harassed me at the gym.
Harassed. Okay, harassed. Got it. Not assaulted, but harassed. Sexually harassed her, not assaulted. Ooh, messy stuff, guys. You got to be careful with that too. People will feel triggered about anything these days, and that's what I'm saying. Just keep it to yourself, man. Keep it to yourself. You don't know how you're going to come off communicating to somebody, so keep it to yourself. But let's move along here. Let's stick with some gym drama. Let's stick with the gym drama. This is going to be totally different. But I want to know how you guys feel about this. I almost want to say, like, this is like so egregious that like part of me wants to say that it's not real, but like I looked into like everything about this and I couldn't find anything that says that it wasn't, right? So take a listen to this altercation or this situation that happened at a Planet Fitness with a transgender man or woman in the women's restroom. Let's take a look.
A young woman was removed from a Planet Fitness location after reporting what she described as inappropriate behavior inside the women's restroom. According to the woman, she is a paying member who entered the restroom and noticed unusual shadows and movements coming from inside a closed stall. She believed the person inside was engaging in inappropriate behavior and felt uncomfortable. To protect herself, she recorded a short video as evidence and immediately notified gym staff. When staff arrived, the individual exited the stall and appeared to be a biological male. The person stated they were transgender and accused the woman of being disrespectful toward their gender identity. The woman says she expected staff to focus on the behavior she reported, but instead, employees accepted the individual's explanation. Rather than conducting a further review, staff asked the young woman to leave the gym. She says she was shocked that she was removed, despite being the one who reported the situation. The individual she reported was allowed to remain on the premises. The woman is now considering legal action against the gym, saying her safety concerns were dismissed, many people saying they may cancel their memberships if similar situations continue to be handled this way. If you were in her position, what would you do?
Another tough scene, guys, right? Another tough scene. You know, this is another one of those topics that's like very touchy, very tricky. You know what I mean? But I think in this case, I think you can argue for if somebody is literally trying to rub one out in the women's locker room at Planet Fitness, and this is supposedly a transgender woman, I would argue public indecency, because that is absolutely wild. If you are look, like I said yesterday, I'm a live and let live type of person. Do what you want in your life. I have no problems with that. You know, if you identify as a trans woman, if you were born a male, but then you identify as a trans woman, cool. If they let you in the women's locker room as a trans woman, cool. But don't go into women's spaces parading, you know, disguised as a woman and kind of like Trojan horse, like parading around as a woman, but have like still like doing things that a man would do. Like, don't betray women in women's spaces is what I'm saying. And I think that that's what this person did here. I think that they knew what they were doing. You know, obviously they had the stall door closed, but you could see it through the shadow on the bottom, which is, again, like, it's really crazy how somebody could do that, and then how somebody could like catch that on camera. Can you imagine, like, if you saw that and like you were like, I'm gonna catch this on camera. Like, I'm gonna just stand here and hold my breath and not breathe. Hopefully they don't hear me. And I'm gonna just catch a couple of seconds of this so I can report it. That's insane on its own. But again, I think that this transgender woman who was born a man is 100,000% in the wrong. And the gym is in the wrong as well. Like, I'm all for, you know, the identity politics of, if you want to be this or that, then sure, go ahead and do it. Right? But don't, again, make a mockery of what you're trying to replicate. Don't make a mockery of it, because women don't go into, you know, the restroom and stroke themselves. They don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to present yourself as a woman, like, act like a lady then. That's where I stand on it. That's where I stand on it. I don't think that the girl who reported this should have gotten kicked out. You know, the whole thing is stupid. That's why it almost felt like it was fake. It almost felt like that. Man. Boyd says they could be rubbing it out to people working out. You never know. This shit is disgusting. It is. It's gross. Which is why I almost don't understand how it was possible for her to get kicked out. You know what I'm saying? The person who reported it to get kicked out. That makes zero sense. That makes no sense. It's like, would you have rather her actually gotten the real thing on camera? Would that have made you feel better as a Planet Fitness, employee or a level in corporate, whoever made this decision to ban this young lady from the gym? Like, was that not enough? Or like, were you doing too much? Basically, what you're saying here is like, yeah, you can jerk off in our bathrooms. We give you that privacy here at Planet Fitness. That's basically what you're saying, which is insane, bro. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know what 2026 has in store, but hopefully not more of this. Hopefully not more of this, man. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. The mess continues. The mess continues. Okay. Oh my God, Tori say in the chat, gooning in the bathroom is crazy. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Especially if you claim to be a trans woman, right? And that is what allows you to be in women's spaces. Why would you portray women like that in women's spaces? That makes no sense to me. They probably didn't want to deal with the backlash from that community, but definitely he should have been the one removed. I don't think that you would get backlash from that community. I mean, how could you? I mean, like, that's just, it lacks decorum, right? If you're saying if they got backlash from the transgender community for kicking that transgender woman out for basically public indecency and exposure, I don't think that they could like logically come to a conclusion at how it makes sense, just how it makes sense for them to stand with this transgender woman. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's a certain way that you have to conduct yourself in public, and if the transgender community were to stand up against that decision, it would basically be saying like, no, we get to do whatever we want, wherever we want, whenever we want, because we want to, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. If I want to goon off and get one off, rub one off in the bathroom or right in front of your face in the women's restroom, I can do that. This is what I identify as. And that would just sound insane, and nobody would go for that. So I don't think that the transgender community, I give them a lot more credit than that. I think that they actually have common sense. Not everybody has common sense, but you know what I mean. I just think that just from a human standpoint, you got to be more considerate than that, and people know that by and large. High level mental gymnastics, they do, but I think most people would agree. That that's wrong. Transgender, gay, non-binary, lesbian, whatever, they would agree that that's wrong, and that guy's got to get out of there. All right, let's move along here. Let's move along. Enough of this gym stuff. Let's get even messier, right? Let me see. All right. Here's a video of a guy who confronts another guy in Walmart when he sees this other guy with his 2 kids. But the kicker is, this guy who confronts the dude with the kids hasn't seen those kids in 3 years. Let's take a listen.
My man, why are you with my daughters? Michelle. Hello, Rihanna. What's going on? Who is this? Who is he? Yo. Bro.
Wait, hold on. First of all, can you look at her face? Look at her face, bro. Look at her face when he's like calling their names, like Rihanna. Excuse me, hello. Look at. Let me go back. I gotta rewind.
Hello, Rihanna.
Look at her face, dog. Like she's looking. She is looking at him like, bro, who is this man? Who is this man? Like, bro. And this says here, another man with his kids. I haven't seen them in 3 years. Hasn't seen his kids in 3 years. This little girl looks all of like 5 years old. So you're telling me you last saw her when she was 2 or maybe 3 at the most? They probably don't even remember you, bro. They probably don't even remember you. And then another thing. This is probably I just found it funny. It probably is a skit. But I'm gonna rewind it again. Look at the dude's face in the black shirt when he looks back. Like he's just looking back with the most unserious.
My man.
Yeah. Look at bro.
Why you with my daughters? Michelle. Hello, Rihanna. What's going on? Who is this? Who is he? Yo. Bro. Who are you?
Who are you?
No, I'm not being funny, bro. Dog. Who are you? Why are you with my kids?
What you mean? These my girls right here.
These your girls?
Yeah.
My dude, I haven't seen my daughters in I don't know how long. Why do you have my children with you in public?
Come on, girl.
You're not gonna answer the question because we're in Walmart? So you're not gonna explain to me why you have my daughters, who I haven't seen in like 3 years?
Come on.
Bro, it's not funny, but it is.
Yo, bro. You know I'm gonna follow you to your car, right? Yo, hello.
Are you following us?
Yeah, I'm definitely following you. I want to put a scene inside Walmart. Yo, why do you have my kids? Who the hell are you?
What you mean? Who are you?
Hey, look.
Bro, the fact that he's smiling the whole time. The fact that he's smiling the whole time is killing.
Look, we're gonna stop. Why do you have my children, brother? What's going on?
These are my girls. Who are you?
I'm their dad.
You your dad? You're
I'm
dad?
their biological father.
You're their biological father?
Yes.
When the last time you seen them?
In 3 years. How the hell do you have my daughters in Walmart? Where's their mother at?
They're home.
At what?
Wait a minute. You still haven't seen these girls in 3 years. It's like, whose fault in that? Whose fault is that? Because obviously y'all live in the same town. Y'all live very close by. And you haven't seen these girls in 3 years. Make it make sense.
She's home.
Come on, let's go. I'm following you. Let's go.
Let's go see Mom.
Yeah, we definitely gonna go see your mother. This is ridiculous. What's your name, brother? What's your name, brother?
John.
John?
Yeah.
You trying to be funny?
John. John Doe.
You being funny? Because I can't close the scene inside Walmart in the parking lot. I'm definitely going to follow you, though. You understand? I'm going to follow you.
Come on. Y'all ready to go see Mom?
Yeah, we all going to see mommy. 100%.
Nah, that's crazy. That is crazy, bro. Zeke says he handled that well. I mean, if this were real, which I refuse to believe it is, it's just a funny situation, bro. If it were real, then yeah, he would have handled it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even engage with him. You feel me? If this dude truly is, you know, these girls' daughters, and you're just dating, you know, their mom at the moment or whatever, then don't even engage with them. You know, just get them in the car or wherever, take them back to their moms and let her know what happened type thing. You know, but for him to like literally turn the camera on in Walmart, follow this dude through Walmart, right? It's that's hilarious. That's hilarious, bro. And he's just like, hey, bro, hey, yo. And he's like ignoring him the whole time. I don't understand. Bitter ex behavior following with a camera after starting the situation. Yeah, he started the whole thing too. That's the funny thing about it. But okay. Let me see what else you're saying in the chat. Now he doesn't care about his kids. He wanted clicks. Yeah, that's a lot of people do this stuff just to go viral. Again, just like again, I think it's a skit, right? For all intents and purposes, I think it's a skit for sure. But a lot of people will turn that camera on just for the chance to go viral, even if it means like putting family trauma and things like that on display. They don't care. If this can get me likes and clicks on the internet, maybe I can turn that into a small fortune of sorts. That's how people do, and I think that's messed up. That's not. I don't know. I think that's messed up. But this is like clearly a skit to me because I think that this would have probably escalated a lot further. I mean, if this guy was like feeling that, froggy to start following this grown man around Walmart, if these, regardless if these were his two daughters or not, after 3 years, I mean, you don't know who's around them, so you don't just like talk to a dude like this and like try to press him out and putting your hands on him and stuff like that, trying to stop his progress and stop him from walking and things like that. Nah, like unless you're really trying to take it there, which it doesn't seem like he was, and that's why he had the camera rolling. It's exactly why he had the camera rolling, right? So that's where I stand with that. I think it's fake too. But it was just funny. The way he was like following through Walmart, like, hey, yo, hey, yo, hold up. Those are my daughters. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. It's messy today, guys. I told you it's messy. Let's keep it moving though. Let me see. So this one is about a woman who talks about how women have to be performative when dating men. And I thought it was interesting because she made some points, but I want to get you guys' take on it. So let's take a listen.
I am single because I do not want to be performative for a man. Listen to me, the truth is truthing on this one, and you may not want to hear it. Being with a man is a constant performance. You are constantly trying to hide the fact, and you're going to hate that I say this, that you are human. Any human bodily functions that you may have cease to exist. And if you're that one girl that's like, I do this all around my man, I fart around him, I burp around him, I am just generally nasty. Guess what, honey? He's gonna cheat on you. I guarantee that. Men do not want to see the human side of women. And I know this is a very hard pill to swallow for a lot.
That's a hot take right there. Very, very hot take.
For a lot of you who are still under the delusion, the guise that love is not conditional. Love and relationships are conditional, and frankly, they should be. But on the male side, they want you to be perfect. Now, perfect way of you can't make any mistakes. Mistakes, you're human, okay? But what they don't want is to see the full spectrum of humanity in you. If you get it, you get it. But being with a male is performance at its peak. You should get an Oscar, honey, okay? Best.
Really quick. When I said I thought she made some good points, I still do. Because I think that, what she's basically saying here is men expect women to be more feminine and ladylike, and a part of what falls underneath that umbrella is kind of hiding some of those bodily functions. I mean, I know most women do that, right? They don't want to fart around a man, or they don't want to burp, or if they do, they say they're sorry or something like that, when they really don't have to do that. I mean, I guess it's a nice gesture. And most men, if you ask them, if you polled like 100 men and you ask them, like, do you like when your girlfriend farts around you or whatever, they're probably going to say no, right? But again, I think she's just saying, like, since that's the case, then most women feel like they have to perform in these relationships and things like that. And again, it's just basically saying men expect women to be ladylike and feminine. But on the flip side, which she doesn't bring up, is how women expect men to be masculine and do certain things, right? You guys heard of like the female ick, right? Men can do little things, right? Little things. Like she's talking about like burping or something like that that'll turn her off, right? Or that'll turn him off if she does it in front of him. Little things like, if you're on date or something like that, and I don't know, you have a hole in your sock. I don't know. Somebody could get the ick, or you get out of the car and your butt crack shows, right? And she gets the ick, and like all of a sudden, like, oh, that was a sign of a lack of masculinity. I don't like that. I'm gonna cheat on him. I'm not gonna stay with him. That's what it is on the flip side to me. You know what I mean? So I think it goes both ways. Again, men just expect women to be feminine and ladylike, and women expect men to be masculine and manly. That's just what it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I think she has some more to say though. Let's see.
Goes to women because men constantly want us to be performative for them. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. If you go on vacation with a man, what is your biggest insecurity? And you're probably literally worried about it from the plane ride until you get back. And it is going to the bathroom. That's right, taking a dookie. It's funny. From the moment you check into that hotel, you're literally scouting the perimeter for a bathroom because you know good and well you will be going to get a coffee at least twice a day on that vacation, okay? Because you need to go.
That coffee does make you shit.
The bathroom in the lobby. And that is just the peak, I think, performative thing that women do for men. Like, we cannot be human in front of men. And you'll notice married women is.
And that's just a stretch right there. That's just a stretch. We don't expect you to, we don't think men don't think women are aliens in that regard, where we know that you take shits, right? We know that you burp. We know that you fart. If you do it around us, it's like, okay, cool. If you make it a habit to like do it like on purpose, like I don't even think most men would do that around their women on purpose, like all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Some men do, some men don't, but I think she's kind of dragging it here.
As soon as they become human to the man, like the fantasy just dissolves, they will go and cheat. They will say, you've changed. But you haven't changed. You've just shown him that you're actually a human and not just a vessel in which they can boink. For the woman, I did see this in my comments. Someone said, well, I guess I'm going to be single forever. I never said that. That's really up to you. But what I am saying is the majority of men do not want to see the human side of women.
I think conflating the two things, men not wanting to see the human side of women and basically only having examples of women farting or shitting or burping. It's like, sis, look, if you want to fart and shit and all that in front of your man, then like do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to just take that pressure off of your shoulders, you could just do it. I'm sure there's somebody out there who would accept you. Like that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Stretch 52 says, have you seen the video of the girl saying that if a man farts excessively, then he is DL? No, I haven't seen that. That sounds, what? Wait, what? If he farts excessively, then he's on the down low? I haven't heard of that, and I can't really connect the dots on that one. Yeah, maybe send that to me, Stretch 52, because I mean, I would love to hear how the two correlate. I would love to hear. Asmodeus, what's going on? Asmodeus in the chat. Appreciate you for coming through, brother. Says, honestly, social media destroyed the dating market. I can agree with that. Asmodeus goes on to say, for women, attention and validation in front of the camera creates the same dopamine hit that guys get after watching corn. That's a take. That's interesting. But I don't know though, because I feel like with the corn thing, it's like you do it and then you're done, and then like you're not even like thinking about that anymore. But like for women, it's like it's constant dopamine. It's like you post a picture and then you check your phone 2 minutes later to see who liked the picture, and then you check your phone 20 minutes later to see how many people like the picture, and then 3 hours later you want to post something else, and then you're tracking it all day, and it's like just nonstop, right? I don't know. I think one is just like a lump sum of dopamine hit, and then the other one is just like released. It's like an extended release in like little spurts. So I think there's a difference there. But they're definitely both addictive, I would say, one or the other. Stretch 52 says where to send the link. You can send it to my Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. My DMs are open on both, bro. If you guys want to send me anything to react to, remember you can always send it there, and I'll bring it up for you guys. Void says free speech is a blessing, but man, people got to learn to stop talking sometimes. Hey, I mean, how do you think I feel sometimes up here? You know, giving these takes, I be feeling like, man, I shouldn't even be, you know, but she's definitely dragging it. She's definitely dragging it because again, like, it's just a reach. Like, it's we live in this like very hot take ish culture. So like saying, she's literally saying, because again, going from like jumping from men by and large do not like listen or like you know being around their women when they fart or shit and things like that, and jumping all the way to men don't like women as humans is a stretch. It's a huge stretch, man. I mean, because if with that logic, if men didn't like women as humans, we wouldn't like anything that came with women, anything that came with human females, which we know isn't true, right? Which we know is not true. Yeah. Asmodeus says, if anyone farts in front of me, I say, "Oh, did you hear that?" Just heard a gust of wind. Gotta call them out on it. Gotta call them out on it. I don't mean the dopamine hits are the same. I mean it's the kryptonite for the sexes. That's true. That's true. I can get with that. I can get with that, Asmodeus, for sure. Was she done talking?
Okay, and that is why I'm always saying be very selective and very logical about who you choose. If that person is not elevating your life, if they're not bringing substantial value to you, I guarantee the moment that it clicks in his mind, oh, this isn't just a box for me to enjoy, then he will move on to the next. He may keep you around if you're useful to him, okay? If you are benefiting his life in the ways like housework, child rearing, having his children, whatever he doesn't feel like doing, okay? Basically, whatever he feels like doing, doesn't feel like doing. If you're doing that, he'll keep you around. But guaranteed, the moment that it clicks for him that you are actually human with human needs, say goodbye, okay? Sorry.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, this is somebody who obviously single, probably been in a relationship, maybe two, where, you know, somebody dumped her for shitting in their presence, I guess, right? I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know what she wants us to do with a lot of this information. I really don't. Um, but yeah, let me see. My guy Stretch said he sent the video. Let me see if I can find it in here. Where you sent it to. You sent it on Instagram or you sent it on Twitter? Oh, I see. It's on Twitter. I see. I see. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Oh, it's on Instagram. Got it. Got it. Let's see. Woman says if a man farts excessively, then he is down low. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this on the screen here. This is where the director will come in handy. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. All right, here we go. Copy that because I need to know. I need to know what this is all about. I need to know. By the way, guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. We have over 200 people watching live right now. That's actually kind of crazy. We've never had this many people watching live on the show across all of our platforms. YouTube, I know most of you guys right now are actually watching on X. Big shout out to you guys for coming on over and checking us out. All right, so here we go. Let me screen share for you guys, and let's listen to this. Share the audio. Do that. There we go. Let's take a listen.
Tried anal, then you know. Your first time trying anal, your fucking farts are gonna be slipping out your fucking ass probably for the next 48 hours.
Oh, this is
the
angle.
Because that ass is loose.
This is the angle.
Same thing with them fucking turds. They're fucking free falling. That ass is loose. So farting is a sign. Excessive farting is definitely a sign that somebody's been playing in your back door. We're not gonna act like it's not. There's people in the comments like farting has nothing to do with being DO. Yes, the fuck it does. Because if me as a woman know that playing in your ass is gonna make you fucking fart more and your shit's gonna be free falling, then yeah, it is a sign. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to be lactose. I get that. Some people are lactose, da. But bitch, if you're not fucking lactose and you don't have no motherfucking stomach issues, it's no reason that your turd should be free falling out of your ass or that you're farting that fucking much. If you don't have no health issues, you're farting because somebody been playing in your ass. I don't care. Everybody in my comments talking about...
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I quickly realized what angle she was going for in that one. And I honestly feel like I lost a couple of brain cells. Not going to lie to you guys. The last 45 seconds of my life, I feel have been stripped away from me, much to my chagrin. Thank you for submitting that video, Stretch 52. That what the hell? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? I mean, it's like when you think about it, it's like I wouldn't know. Let me just put that on the table right now. I wouldn't know. But like, I guess if you think about it, maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm not really here to speculate it, but man, that is actually, whoa. She really just said that. Woman says if a man farts excessively, then he is down low because it means he's getting his ass played in. 2026, here we are. Here we are. Oh, holy crap, holy crap. Let me get her off the screen, guys. Let me get her off the screen. Get her up out of here. Okay. All right. Let's move on here. We're gonna get into our last video of the episode here, and this one is going to be a bit of an interesting one. It's a little, I wouldn't say it's messy, but it is kind of thought-provoking. Now, I don't know how many of you guys grew up going to church, and specifically like black churches. But you know, if you grew up in like a black church, or like especially like a Baptist church, there were times when like the music was playing, they would, you know, some people would get hit what's called with the Holy Ghost, where they get up and start dancing and whatnot. And people on the internet, you know, in this new age of social media, have kind of started to gravitate towards the idea that all of that stuff is fake. It's all performative. You're not actually catching any type of Holy Spirit while you're doing that. And I just wanted you guys to take on that. And this is one of the videos kind of, you know, reiterating that. So you see, everybody's up dancing around. And honestly, some of it does look a little bit forced. I mean, the little boy is like not happy. Not going for it, right? But to me, I have a very interesting take on this, guys. I have a very interesting take on this. Because it's very easy, again, it's very easy to look at people in church looking like they're acting a fool and say, yeah, all of this is performative. There's no, you know, and I believe in God. But I don't think that there's like some sort of like supernatural force that like takes over a person's body and causes them to dance like this. Now, what I will say is that this is a prime example. And if you're the type of person who thinks that like people dancing in church and catching the Holy Spirit is performative, fine. But I will say is challenge yourself to think about it a little bit deeper. Challenge yourself to think about it with the idea that, think about how music impacts us, right? Think about how music really influences the culture, even dating back to the earliest of times. And then you fuse that with strong faith. And then you fuse that with pain, and trauma that you're supposed to be able to release when you're at church. I think the cocktail of those three ingredients is what gets you this. And on top of that, the fourth one is it is a little bit performative, but I don't think in the way that a lot of you guys think it is. I think it's more so performative in the sense that it is an act to show appreciation to God. I do. Again, I think that the combination of the music, because nobody does this when the music's off, right? I think the combination of the music, the faith, and the life experiences, pain, suffering, and this being a safe space to get that off, accompanied with, if you think about it, like a lot of the movements that these people do, they're really like tribal movements, almost as if like, you know, again, it's like an appreciation to God. I'm going to use my body and move my body and create energy to show appreciation to God. I think that that's more so what it comes from. I don't think it necessarily comes from people just trying to impress the congregation, because that's never really made sense to me either. That argument's never really made sense to me. You know, there's a lot of different, religions and tribes and things and what have you across this world who engage in religious dances. And that's how they show appreciation to their God. So how is this any different? That's why I have a problem with people calling it performative. I really don't think that it's a performative thing. I think it's just a release of energy, a display of appreciation towards God, and a reaction to music. Like a reaction to music. These people might seem like they're overdoing it a little bit. Of course, it's more of an extreme example. And look at this little boy. Look at bro's face. Bro wants to go home and play Fortnite so bad, bro. He wants to go home and play Fortnite so bad, bro. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. But you guys get my point, though. You guys get my point. All church is performative. That's a hot take. That's a hot take right there. That looks way more fun than being in the Mormon church growing up. Interesting. Would love to hear about, your experience in there, If you're saying it's contrived, I agree with you. That's bullshit. Yeah. I don't think it's contrived. I really don't. Again, do I think it's like a supernatural spirit taking over? No, because I am of the belief that God gave people free will. And I think it's just, again, the cocktail of the music, the faith, and the pain and trauma and experiences. And then also just dating back to our ancestors, this is probably a lot of this was going on. A lot of this was going on, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Herb in the house, what's going on, Herb? Says, what's going on, Herb? Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate that. We actually just wrapped up. And that was our last video. You missed the episode for the most part, Herb. Make sure you rewind, man. We had a good one. We're an hour and 23 minutes in. We had a lot of we had some interesting topics. We had some serious topics. We had some playful would you rather, hypothetical question topics. We had a lot of mess. There's a lot of messiness as well. So this is a very good episode. Again, I want to appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through. We still have over 211 people watching live across all of our platforms that we're live on right now. Again, YouTube, Kick, YouTube again, because we're also on Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, and Twitter as well. So shout out to everybody watching live. What I need you guys to do is this. I need you guys, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on X, come over to YouTube, go to the description of this video, right? And click on the official link for the official YouTube channel for Sutton Reactions, because pretty soon this will not be on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. That'll be strictly sports over there and Ravens related content. And over here, we'll be doing all of our reaction stuff and, talking about the worldly things like we do on here. Having a great time too, by the way, with you guys. Let me see. You missed people being freaked out in the gym. Oh yeah. You missed that one. You missed a lot. It was a crazy episode. Again, guys, we'll be later. We'll be live later on today around, I'd say, what would that be, like 6 p.m. Eastern today. I'll be doing Quiet Storm Sports and talking about who I want for the Ravens' next head coach. I kind of alluded to it earlier in this episode, but I'll talk about it more in depth. And we are going to do live call-ins from our members only on this episode. So if you are a member of the Rain Gang, then please feel free to call in tonight and chop it up with me about our Ravens, how you're feeling, who you want the Ravens to go ahead and pursue at head coach next. We're going to be getting into all of that later on today on Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Again, guys, appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart, for always coming out here, waking up and making me, your first listen, your middle listen of the day, your last listen. Again, it's a good morning, good afternoon, good evening thing. I know a lot of you guys are watching after the fact. I appreciate all of you guys for coming through and enjoying and watching this content. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow on Sutton Reactions and later today on Quiet Storm. Again, my name is Sutton Def. Please remember, stay positive, test negative, and never, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.